And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to not quite the viewer replay cast, but welcome back to the Sparkling Tuna Cup number 68. As a reminder, again, this is an event, this is a tournament that took place last night. We did cover the majority of the event as well, all the way up to the grand finals, but we did have to put the finals on hold, did have to postpone it as the players were otherwise unavailable. They had to compete in another tournament, but now we're back. Now we are back and we can conclude our weekly Tuna Cup. When it comes to the event itself, exclamation mark B in the chat to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket did progress quite nicely here. We had Gerald wanking his way through the upper half of the bracket. He was able to take down Rostock 2-1, was able to take down Hod Mono 2-1 as well. Gerald did stumble his way to those grand finals as he did drop maps to Rostock and Hod Mono, Protoss and Terran player respectively. Meanwhile, we had Shameless. Shameless was able to bring down Rebellion 2-0 alongside Nikic as well. Had a very close series against Nikic. I mean, we were able to cast both semifinals, thankfully. Nikic was popping off that night as well, but at last did fall at the hands of Shameless, and that means we have a PvP finals. Let's go. Let us go. We have a PvP grand finals here. It's going to be a best of 5 between these two players, and as we're jumping into this, Gamba. Predictions will be open in the chat. You can place your bets on who you think will be this week's champion. Will it be one Protoss or the other? It'll be up to you to decide. Let's go, as game 1 is going to be on Oceanborn. Here we go. Sparkle harder. Exactly. Here we go. So we're jumping into that first game. Again, we've seen a lot of Gerald's PvP over the past couple of months, and he has quite a distinct style. I'm curious how his opponents will approach him, as spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the Polish Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing his new team, Streamer Zone. It is Gerald. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Red Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim this series. Best of luck. As a reminder, this is a best of 5 between these two players, not a best of 3. It is a best of 5, and I still have to get used to I do still have to get used to introducing Gerald as a part of Streamer Zone, like for a very, very long time. For many years, ever since the COVID era of StarCraft, Gerald has been on Storm Gaming. He last week did announce that he was leaving the team, and only a couple of days ago, Gerald announced his new team, Streamer Zone, instead. You might be curious, Streamer Zone, what exactly is that? Oh, as they are talking about the Wardy event, as a reminder, they both did compete in Wardy's tournament, which was a 3v3 tournament last night. And Shameless made it all the way to the semis. Shameless's team made it all the way to the semis. I think Gerald made it to the quarterfinals. Oh, true. Easy. As there was a Korean Maru Beyond team as well. Aye. SMH. But yeah, what I was getting at is Streamer Zone. It is a new team that has been formed. I believe they've been around for a while, but they've recently created an SE2 roster. Oh, let's go. But they recently made an SE2 roster, and they have players like for Jumi, they have Gerald, they have Nightmare, and they have Quanta. So Streamer Zone, they now have 4 players. Quanta was a very interesting pickup, but really cool to see that Gerald found a new home very quickly. Is a deserving player to be on the team as well. So really cool to hear that he is getting more support. As it is going to be a 2-gate opener out of Geralt and 2-gate opener out of Shameless. Oh, they're both like, yo, we clowned on Maru and Beyond. Who hasn't beaten Maru and Beyond in 2v2? Geralt and Spirit, Shameless as well. They're popping off. But now it's less about the 2v2s. Now it's more about the 1v1s. I appreciate that they're bonding though. I like it. Protoss together strong. As we do have our double dips moving out across the map. You're like, they have no teamwork. Maru and Beyond, they're just busy. Just annoying themselves. This is where you're like, how many Sparkling Tuna Cups has Maru won? Huh? True. 0. Bjorn has won a lot, though. Bjorn has won the second most amount of Tuna Cups in the world. That is true. Second only to Christiana. Christiana, meanwhile, was not here this week for Sparkling Tuna Cup. Not here to reclaim his crown, as he was last week's champion. Ooh, meanwhile, Gerald going for the proxy Dark Shrine. Yeah, we do have the Twilight Council. Dark Shrine is going to be on the way here for Gerald. Again, he's very fond of this, at least throwing it in mid-series, going for the proxy, and show us the Dark Shrine. Meanwhile, Hallucination scouts in the main, does get eyes on Twilight Council, sees it researching, so everything looks normal. Meanwhile, across the map, Adepts, they get shut down. Shameless does keep up, and there it is. There's the Dark Shrine. Oh boy, Dark Shrine has been placed. Gerald did lose his Adepts across the map, so Shameless was able to shut both of them down. Looks like Gerald was otherwise distracted, but no detection. And because there's no robo, because there's no detection, when the DTs arrive, they could straight up just end the game. They could end the game. Aye, aye, aye. Hallucinated Oracle moving out to scouts, hopefully trying to distract. Likewise, Shameless getting a read on what's going on. And the problem here is, again, this proxy Dark Shrine is so well hidden that there's no reason to be ready for this. There's no reason to have detection. Shameless, he's setting up for a third. Okay, Robo. Robo has been placed here at the natural. Now, Gerald, he sees the Robo, which means he could actually try and snipe the pylon and try and depower the Robo as well before there is an observer. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. The Robo is halfway done. Meanwhile, the Dark Shrine is about to finish. And we're about to have some fast warp-ins here, proxied across the map. Oh boy, will there be detection in time? DTs are warping in. Likewise, Hallucinations got into the main. Shameless does confirm the third. DTs are waddling in. The Robo is done. The Robo will finish, and we should be getting that Observer. Observer should be on the way. I'm hoping at least. There we go. Observer does begin. So Shameless, he will have detection. DTs have arrived. And Shameless can force field. Oh, does he spot them? He doesn't. He does not spot the DTs. They do swipe away. DT at the third, DT in the main. Probes are going down. At the same time, Gerald, he does hit the third. Let's hit the third base. Just pulling apart the attention of Shameless. Probes are going down. It's going to be 7 probe kills so far. DT falls in the main. And can he force a cancel on the third? Uh-oh. Third base is getting low. Oh my god, the DT adds so much more DPS. Third base does complete. And can Gerald snipe it? He cannot. Whew. Barely. Shameless, he holds. Does hold. Does lose 7 probes in the process. But does establish his third base. Is down in workers, down in economy. Moving out across the map. Gerald is getting ready. Setting up back at home to receive. Shield battery is not ready yet. Oh. It's not ready. He does have Blink. Blink is done for both players. Shameless pushing in. Shameless does have the armor supply lead, and Gerald is going to be punished for those Dark Templar. Does force field, does lock down one of the sentries. Ooh, doesn't quite get the Stalker. Nice blinks out of Gerald. Does pull away. Does pull away in time. The shield battery is done, but it doesn't get targeted down. No overcharge. But Gerald, he's bought enough time. The Immortal has arrived, and with the help of the Immortal, he holds. Gerald does hold, just barely. Things are looking a little bit dire. But again, the Immortal did arrive. Both players have recovered worker-wise. I mean, Shameless has, catching up, getting up to 58. Gateway Explosion charge on the way for both players as well, and the game is stabilizing. We're calming things down. When it comes to our advantages, Gerald was mining more for longer, true. And with that, he does have a faster upgrade, has faster +1, can get into slightly faster +2. There we go, +2 beginning immediately here for the Protoss, for Gerald. But it's not the biggest of windows. You know, Shameless, he's not too far behind with his own upgrade, just by a couple of seconds. Meanwhile, Shameless working towards the Templar Archives, working towards Chargeal Archon. Meanwhile, Gerald, he often skips Archon production and he goes straight into Disruptors instead. That is his style. He's very fond of just going Gateway Army into Disruptor instead. We'll see if he can miss that as well. See if he can miss that again. As for now, he's being active, reinforced with more zealots. Charge is about to kick in. And once it does, Gerald, he can hit the third. Army is spotted. Shameless does need those Archons. Shield battery goes down. Zealots are coming to reinforce, and Gerald, he's going for the kill. The Prism falls. Nice snipe. War Prism is sniped. The Immortal as well. Charge just now about to kick in, but is it too late? Still such a close fight. Zealots are being cleaned up. The Immortal has arrived, and Shameless, he can take this fight, but here come more Zealots. Oh! They're coming to reinforce. More Zealots to trickle in. Prism is exposed. Immortal is saved. Gerald, he will snipe the War Prism. Oh, barely not. Shameless, he is holding on. Saves the War Prism, saves the Immortal. Archons are on the way. And again, that's the key unit that he needs here against these Zealots. And Shameless, he's out scaling Gerald. I assumed that he was going to be working towards Disruptors, but alas, Gerald, he stayed on minimal gases. Didn't take his gas at the natural or the third. Just 4 gases for Gerald, just mass Zealot. Stalkers do outposition Shameless. Headed for the natural. Depowering gateways. Diving into the main. At the same time, Zealots, they hit the third. They hit the fourth even. Sniping another pylon. Not bad. Zealots attempt to overwhelm, but there's the overcharge. Oh, the Prism! Oh my god. War Prism goes down, but in the end, Shameless is holding. Does defend. Oh, I spoke too soon. I spoke a little bit too soon, but there we go. The rest of the army does rotate over. Archon is revealed. And Shameless holds. He holds, he lost pylons. His gateways still have yet to be repowered. That does impact his production. Likewise, Gerald, he still reinforces. Still pushing in. Archon's on the way. +3. Gerald does have the upgrade lead. Gets there's the Bay into Disruptors, as you did mention. It is what Gerald does prefer in PvP, is rushing into Disruptors. But Gerald was pretty committed. Like, he was pretty committed here, trying to break his opponents, and he wasn't able to. But DTs, they hit the third. They go for the third base, they go for the Nexus. Shameless is able to keep up. Does protect the Observer. Oh no! The Observer goes down! Nice snipe there out of Gerald. Cheeky move. Gets the Observer. And again, Gerald, he's just buying time. Now he's finally taking his gases. His gases at the natural and gases at the fourth. And that will allow him to get into double Disruptor production. Second Robo is done. Disruptors are already on the way. And Disruptors, they do outscale this kind of ground-based army. But Gerald does need time. He needs time to really get into the Disruptors, get into his production. And until then, Gerald, he's vulnerable. Proxy is scouted. Shameless moving out, does have the supply lead. And again, Shameless, he has to deal with critical damage before Disruptors amass. And we get a wall of cannons and shield batteries on the way. Gerald is just trying to buy time. He knows he's in danger. He knows he's in trouble. First Disruptors here. Oh, Nova goes up. Up! No! Oh, friendly fire! Friendly Nova! Shameless, he can break through. Second Nova goes off. Does connect with Zealots this time. Better connection for Gerald. But it looks like Shameless, he has too much. He does overwhelm. He breaks through the front lines. He gets some of the cannons, gets some of the shield batteries. Forcing back the main army. And does get into the fort. Mineral line is going to go down. Another Nova goes off. Ooh, takes down the Zealots. More Zealots are coming in to reinforce, and it looks like Shameless, he has done it. And Gerald, he's so committed earlier, he was unable to break Shameless, didn't get into the economy, into the mineral line. And Shameless, he's snowballing out of control. Punishing just how, again, borderline all-in Gerald was. Now he's down 50 supply. And Gerald does have Mass Disruptor, but that's all he really has. I mean, +3 to just finish. And we can see Shameless going double Stargate. This should be for Phoenix. I guess the secure way to deal with Mass Disruptor is just to lift all the Disruptors with Phoenixes. And Shameless, he backs off. He could have kept going. It would have been difficult to push into 4, now 6 disruptors. But it would have been possible for Shameless. But he's playing it safe. He does play it safe. He backs up. Getting another expansion. Setting up his own War Prism International. And Phoenix production has begun. As we mentioned before, Phoenixes, when they lift a disruptor, they cancel the Nova. The Novas are canceled. So with enough Phoenixes, you can completely shut down all these disruptors. It'll take some time, though. Waiting for additional Phoenixes. They are building up. Shameless is about to max out. And it's going to be on Shameless to trade. To trade with the army. To keep the disruptor count low. Otherwise, Gerald can recover. As that is happening, that's 9 disruptors. Soon to be 10. 10 disruptors for Gerald. That's a lot of that's a lot of balls. Ay. How many Phoenixes? Soon to be 8. 8 Phoenixes for Shameless. And he is maxed. He will still take some Novas to the face. It's not going to be a pretty fight, but again, Shameless needs to fight before Gerald maxes out. While Shameless still has that supply lead, does have to send it. The army is revealed. Gerald's repositioning. He's getting ready. Yeah, that is a very zealot-heavy composition, and Shameless, he will deny the expansion. Let's force a cancel. Your 2 Novas go off. They don't connect. That's what, 9 disruptors left. Sorry, 9 in total. So 7 Novas remaining. Shameless does out position. He has the high ground. Novas going up and up. Oh my god, they take down an Immortal. And where are the Phoenixes? We need a lift. There we go, the disruptors, the Novas are denied. Phoenix is popping off. They shut down 3 disruptors. Shameless, he can keep pushing. Getting out more of those Novas. Trying to engage with the main army. There we go. Does lift every single disruptor. Another Nova goes off. Does connect. But the rest are being cleaned up. The rest are being shut down. And Shameless, he overwhelms his opponent. And despite Gerald being the more favorite player coming into this, Shameless, he denies, or he doesn't take too many losses to the DTs. Shuts down the all-in. And does punish Gerald. Meanwhile, across the map, DTs are wreaking havoc, probes are going down, but the main army of Shameless, I mean, it's terrifying. There's no stopping this. Does recall back home. Has the Observer, has detection, saves the expansion. They can keep going. And GG gets called, and Shameless takes game number 1. Whew. GG. A very aggressive game out of Gerald initially here. Going DTs again into his, again, I would say borderline all-in. He tried to recover after the failed aggression by going into mass disruptor production, but he had already lost so much supply. He'd already lost too much to really recover. He needed more time. He needed his opponent to back off, and he needed Shameless to be more passive. Alas, thankfully, Shameless, he did pull the trigger with those, what, 8, 9, just 9 Phoenixes. And GG. GG, well played. Shameless does take a lead. Now we're jumping into game number 2. Ooh, a much smaller map. Going to be loading into Ghost River. Let's go. Let us go. Getting into game 2. And we'll see if Gerald can recover or if Shameless extends that lead. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ghost River, we have the Polish Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Streamer Zone down in the series. We'll see if he can recover and bounce back. It is Gerald. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the Red Protoss player, representing Team Little Fairy, leading the series 1-0. Can he keep it up? It is Shameless. Now again, a lot of this was off the back of the failed aggression of Gerald. Gerald, again, is going to have to calm things down and give Shameless a little bit more respect. They were bantering, of course, at the start of the game, having fun, but now, serious mode. Now the pants are gone. So are the pants. Now we can settle in. Probe Scout moving out. Shout out to the tuna, of course. It's beautiful. Tuna is here. Shameless does dip into the main. Going for his probe scouts. Gerald's going for a much later scout instead. So far, everything looking as it should. Gerald could opt to hide that second pylon as a proxy, but it looks like he's not really deviating here from his main path. Looks like the pylon should be thrown down in the main, so no proxy from either player. There we go. Second pylon gets placed in the main base for Gerald. Second pylon in the main for Shameless as well. Both players scout, both players confirm. Both players are aware that there is no all-in, or there is no proxy at least. So everything looking as it should. We'll see where our players take us from here. Meanwhile, it's going to be double Stalker here out of Shameless. Oh, there we go. Never mind. Stalker Sentry against Stalker Sentry. Standard openers. Again, Stalker Sentry is the go-to. It's the bread and butter of PvP nowadays. Just because of how solid the Sentry is in this matchup. Does extra damage than it used to. And of course, does allow you to scout your opponent with those hallucinations. So very macro-oriented. Probe Scout gets denied. Gerald does get the slightly faster expansion. Only slightly. But that will lead to a slight worker advantage for Gerald. Meanwhile, we have our tech of choice. We do have our blue Protoss player going into Twilight Council. It's going to be Blink. I mean, I say Blink. We did see Gerald rush into DTs last game. I mean, he went for both. But I expect this time to hold on the DTs and just focus on Blink Stalkers. Usually, Proxy Dark Shrine is something that you do once in the series, not something you necessarily rely upon. Shameless does scout, does confirm. Does get eyes on the Twilight Council. I mean, Shameless might be second-guessing himself. This is looking quite similar to Game 1. And we know what happened there. Shameless is moving out, getting in position to expand and take a third. Blink also on the way for the red Protoss. So both players kind of mirroring each other. Only slight variations here. And yeah, he's paranoid. After what happened in Game 1, I don't blame him. Shameless, he is fanning out. He's scouting and looking for any proxy Dark Shrine. Hallucination does confirm the third. So Shameless just making sure he's safe. And as he expands, he will move out. Now, once again, Shameless's third base is slightly later, but he does have the army to work with. Does have the slightly larger army supply. Hallucinated Stalkers moving in to tank some shots. They can and they will. He's taking some volleys. Sentry gets caught out. Getting one, getting two. Yeah, massive pickoffs. Gerald does get the better fight. Shameless has to back off. At the same time, it upsets Shade into the natural. This was a distraction. Probes are going down. 3 probe kills. Not bad. Getting a 4th. 4 probes to 2 adepts. Better trade. Better trade for Shameless. Shameless does take an economic lead, but he did lose 2 sentries in the process. Did lose those sentries. That can come into play. Scout is denied. And for now, we're just calming things down. Calming things down. Shameless is going to be heavily reliant on the gateway-based army. He has +1 attack on the way. And for now, just Mass Blink Stalker into charge. Meanwhile, Gerald taking a different approach. He goes for delayed upgrades, instead faster Immortal production. With a faster Robo. So the Immortal count is already being worked upon. Gerald trying to sneak into the natural. He does sneak past. Headed for the natural base, going for the mineral line. Probes are going down. Shameless out of position, and Gerald, he can always just recall. Can and he will. He bleeds out 1 Stalker for 4 probes. A worthwhile trade here for the Blue Protoss. Does trade well. Recovers from the earlier losses from the Adepts. And now Gerald can settle in. Building up more Immortals. As I mentioned before, Gerald, he is known for skipping Archons and going into Disruptors. Last game, it wasn't necessarily his choice. He was initially going for an all-in, and then he was forced into Disruptors a little bit late. This time, extra gases. This time, gases are being taken. And I imagine Gerald is willing to tech this time a lot faster into a second Robo. I'm making the assumption that Geralt is going to do his, like, you know, stylistic choice of rushing into Disruptors, but he could still go into Archon production instead. That is very much so viable. Well, I'm leaning on that bait, or towards the bait. Shameless going for the Temple Archive. Shameless is doing what he did last game and is going into Chargel Archon. And Geralt is doing the same. Okay, we have confirmation. Temple Archives not in Robotics Bay. Geralt is going Archon as well. So once again, both players are quite similar to each other. I say similar. Again, Shameless doesn't have any Immortals. That's kind of the biggest difference here. As both players are expanding, getting their 4th. Getting their 4th bases. Geralt moving out. He is spotted by the Observer. Shameless knows. Shameless getting in position. Spots the army backing off. Getting ready for his own counterattack as well. Yo, meanwhile, shout out to Dave Tesla. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session, I'm assuming. Hope you had a good time. Welcome. Welcome to the grand finals of Sparkling Tuna Cup. Welcome to our PvP. We have Shameless. Going to be warping in. He has a massive amount of Zealots, but he's going to be pushing into Archons. Likewise, morphing in his own. Army supplies are close. Gerald trying to keep up. Shield batteries are on the way. But Gerald needs a little bit more time. Oh, the Prism! Oh, massive snipe. Prism goes down. No more reinforcements, and Shameless, at this point, he's going to have to back off. He has to retreat. Stalker goes down. Nice snipe out of Gerald. He's going to be able to hold on. And Geralt doesn't counterattack. Both players going to be embracing Disruptors. We have the Bay on the way for Geralt, Bay on the way for Shameless, second Robo into Disruptors. The balls are coming, Pappy. Let's go. Doing okay, was in the hospital today, but we're alive. Oh, that's good to hear. Take care of yourself, Pappy. Take care of yourself. Aye. Look after yourself. As we are settling in. Again, going into Disruptors. Dark Shrine on the way as well. Looks like it's going to be a bit of a longer setup as the army, or sorry, the bases are being split in half. The map is being split in half. As both players are expanding. This is a game state that you can enter quite quickly here on Ghost River just because there aren't really many bases to take. And it's very easy to just, you know, cut the map in half as well. As Disruptor production has begun. Making 2 Disruptors at a time. And Gerald's catching up in upgrades. There is going to be a small window where Shameless has +3. But Disruptors, they don't care about your upgrades. And that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to the micro, the control of those Disruptors. First Disruptor has arrived for Shameless. Likewise for Gerald's as well. Zealot on my does scout the robos. Zealot on my towards the south as well. Do scout each other. And Gerald, he's setting up for the late game. We have a wall of cannons, wall of shield batteries on the way. This is where Gerald thrives. He has some insane PvP late game. And once Gerald secures himself, he can throw down Stargates and get ready for Tempest. It's kind of the late game army that you're looking for is Disruptor Tempest. Speaking of Skytoss and Tempest, there it is. 2 more Stargates. Stargates are on the way. Once they're done, Gerald can start his fleet beacon. Start headed into that Skytoss. Meanwhile, Gerald's getting caught out of position. Shameless does hit the expansion, but there is a wall of cannons. Cannons will buy time. Nova's going up. Shameless shoots first. But here comes the army for a surround. Nova's don't quite connect. And there's no way out of this for Shameless. He's going to lose everything. The Archons, the Disruptors, is forced to recall and will barely escape. But again, he lost so many Stalkers in the process. Aye. Losing Disruptors, losing Stalkers. Geralt, he can't keep going. And Shameless, he's hurting. It was, what, 5 Stalkers? 2 Archons going down. Not like this. Shameless is vulnerable. Never goes up. Gets the Disruptor. Gerald can keep going. Oh, shout out to Protostegosaurus in the chat. Gah, papi, gah. Thank you for the gifted subs. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Do appreciate it, papi. Oh. So those do collide. Shameless buying time. Buying himself time here with these Disruptors. Likewise, Prism into the natural. Going for a Zealot warp in. Going for a DT warp in. Blinks in. Takes down the cannon. Cannon goes down. No detection. Aye. At the same time, Gerald's just trying to force a distraction. Never goes off. Oh! Does connect. Late blink. Not the best connections here, but does shave off some Stalkers. Force fields a ramp. Backs away. And the DTs, they got 12 probe kills here at the natural. Aye. Gerald just pulling Shameless apart. And back at home, here come the Tempest. Tempest are on the way. Another expansion going down. There it goes up. Oh my god, massive connection. Shameless not quite looking. The base falls. Gerald, he backs off. Now up an expansion. And is embracing that Skytoss transition. Again, this is where Gerald is at his best. Is the late game in PvP. He's just so quick to rush into Disruptors and get into Tempest production. Shameless moving out. Does have the Disruptor lead. Never goes up. Gerald shoots first. Trading 1 for 1. Shameless in an awkward position. Zoned away from his own bases. Oh, the Novas! Oh my god. Once again, takes out most Disruptors from Shameless. Tempest gets caught out. Shameless can hunt it down, can and will. Bit of miscontrol there from Gerald. But outside of that, still has an overwhelming army. He's collapsing in. Shameless, he's trapped. There's no way out of this. Nova's going off. Shameless trying to surround. Oh my god, but the Novas are brutal. And Gerald, he blinks in, takes Nova to the face, but doesn't matter, doesn't care. Will end up cleaning everything up. GG gets called, and Gerald will tie up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. Gerald does take the second game, and we have a back and forth. Again, game 1, Gerald had some failed aggression. He was very much so in the face of Shameless. He was punished for it. Here in game 2, a little bit more macro oriented. It's what we know Gerald for being for, taking it slower, taking some better fights at home, but not necessarily counterattacking, just taking up instead, getting further ahead, embracing those disruptors and Tempest towards the end. We didn't really get into full like late game PvP, but we were working in that direction. Gerald, he almost got there, and with that, GG. GG, well played. We have that back and forth, and we're jumping to game 3 on Golden Aura. And this is where we see the most late game. Golden Aura, it's a very large map, a lot of bases to expand to as well, and we've seen a lot of Geralt on this map. We've seen a lot of like 30 to 40 minute games. This could be another. This could be another one of those games that does go the distance. We'll see. We'll see if we get there. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our Polish Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing his new team, Streamer Zone. It is Gerald. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. But thank you, Stegosaurus, for the 5 gifted subs. Do appreciate it. Gracias, gracias. Again, Stegosaurus is going to be hosting the Stego Monday tomorrow, I believe. Tomorrow is going to be the Stego Monday. We'll be a part of that, of course, as well. We'll be there. I'm sure many others as well. Steadfast, Pig, Dave, Enki, Rockless. All will be coming together. As Shameless is moving out, does walk past the tuna. Beautiful. Does get past. Back at home should just be 2 gate openers, and it looks like neither player once again is going for a proxy. We haven't really seen too much early game aggression yet in this series, but we could get there later on. Is a best of 5. Oh, the surround! Oh my god! Shameless! He flies too close to the sun. He does get burned. A very nice surround there by Gerald. Shuts down the scanning probe. And with that, Gerald is looking secure. And his follow-up won't be scattered. I mean, Geralt isn't hiding anything, but Shameless doesn't know that. He is in the dark. Behind this, Geralt going for his own scouts, gets eyes on the pylon. Make sure that there is no proxy. And unlike Shameless, Geralt does not get surrounded. We'll get away. We have our initial units of choice. It's going to be double adept out of Geralt, so he's going to be a little bit more aggressive this time. Moving out, hoping for economic damage. Meanwhile, Shameless going double Stalker. This can lead into a 3rd and 4th Stalker, which would be far more aggressive here from Shameless to move out and gain momentum. His hope here is to catch the Adepts and shut them down. Likewise, Adepts are going to be hoping to avoid these Stalkers. Interesting. Shameless going for a delayed expansion, going for a Stargate open. Okay. I mean, he was delayed, he was locked in. Stargate is in production. Gerald once again delaying the expansion. And does keep the Stalkers pinned back at home. We catch the probe. Going for the pylon. Adept sneaking up behind this. As Shameless moves out, can Gerald slip in? The pylon! Oh, we do throw it down. The shield battery just in time. Adepts do commit. And Shameless, he will clean this up. Shouldn't lose anything to the Adepts, thankfully. Oracle's on the way. Gerald was unable to scout, but Gerald should be aware that something's wrong. Again, the expansion is so delayed for Shameless. Gerald, he's already got his base underway, and he's getting the safety shield battery. So he knows something is wrong, he's ready for the Oracle. As the Oracle cannot out-DPS the healing of that shield battery, his main base is safe. Oracle does slip in. Going for the main, shield battery's ready, and the Oracle does nothing! The Oracle has to back off. Meanwhile, Gerald's going for a faster blink, Twilight Council is done, and this is where I have to be concerned for Shameless, because Shameless, his expansion is slightly later. On top of that, Shameless did invest quite heavily here into the Stargate, into the Oracle, and it just hasn't paid off, it hasn't paid for itself. And Shameless, yeah, he has to go for the robot. He has to embrace Immortal production instead. Oh, did even invest into a second Oracle. Okay, we'll see if we can find some damage. 2 Oracles can one-shot probes. The shield battery is not going to be good enough. Adepts shade into the main. Shameless. Oracles and Adepts, they bust in. Probes are going down. So far only 3. Getting 4. 5, oh my god. 6 probes. 6 probe kills, not too bad. Oh, but it cost Shameless his Adepts. Adepts go down. Stalker fell as well. And despite losing 6 probes, the worker count is still in favor of Gerald. That goes to show just how far ahead he was when it came to the faster expansion. So the pressure is still on Shameless. So far, so good. Gets another probe. Shameless back at home, starting up Immortal production. Again, Shameless, he knows that he's going to be down Blink, which means he has a less mobile army. So Shameless has to be more defensive. He has to build up at home and build up, 2, 3, 4 Immortals before moving out across the map. So he's going to be stuck at home. And Geralt will have map control. With Blink, he can try to dip in between the bases. He can pick away at any stray units. There is a lot of micro potential for Geralt as he's moving out. And Blink is done. Blink has completed. Gerald pushing in. Waiting for the Nexus, looking down the Immortal. Can he get it? The force fields are brutal. The Immortal does go down, and that could just be it. And Geralt, he overwhelms. The Immortal was necessary to hold. The shield battery as well. But the Immortal was out of range. Shield battery a little bit too far back, or the Immortal too far forward. And GG gets called. Gerald takes a 2-1 lead. GG. Again, a very decisive play there out of Gerald. Shameless had the tools to defend, but unfortunately he was caught out. Again, the force fields, they locked down the Immortal. They just didn't allow the Immortal to fall back to the shield battery. Shield battery was a little bit too late. And again, the army was out of position. And Gerald did snowball out of control from there. GG. GG, well played. Gerald does take a lead. Again, momentum is on his side. Can Shameless bring it back here and force the ace match? I'm hoping for a game 5, but the pressure is now on Shameless. The pressure is on. And again, that final game as well just was a really rough start. If you remember, Shameless, he was contained on one base. His natural was heavily delayed. He invested into the Oracles. And the Oracles, they did enough to kind of like equalize the economy. But even then, it was insane just how far ahead Geralt was when it came to his worker count and his saturation. The Oracles did need to do more. Alas, here we go. We're getting into game number 4. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Side Delta, we have the Polish Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Gerald. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. Down in this series, he has to fight back here and now to force the ace match. It is Shameless. And welcome everyone, welcome to Side Delta, a very different kind of map in this matchup. We have Shameless opening up with a gate expand economic opener here out of Shameless, which is viable, which is legal here on Side Delta. But Gerald does not. Gerald, he stays on a 1-base setup and is going for a 2-gate opener instead. Interesting. Now, if Gerald throws down a second gateway, and if Shameless throws down a Nexus, or throws down a Cybercore into Nexus, we could end up in a situation where Gerald is tempted to go for a 1-base all-in. Now, the reason why going for more greedy openers is common on Side Delta is because of the ramp. The ramp does keep you safe, does allow you to be greedier, take faster expansions, and go for just more greedy builds. Shameless does open up with the second gas geyser though. Goes to second gas. That means that Shameless can open up Stargate and can go for the max open. Cybercore is on the way. Now, the goal here for Gerald is to deny the expansion. Is to throw down Pylon, throw down a Cybercore even, just delay for as long as possible, force out the Zealot, and try to force a more inefficient build out of Shameless. As the Pylon gets placed, the Zealot's on the way. And I imagine Shameless should be throwing down that Stargate. The Pylon gets thrown down. Yep, there it is. Stargate is on the way. So Gerald does force the Stargate opener. And Gerald did open up with 2 gateways. Now, because of this, Gerald, he will have a Stalker lead. He straight up will have a Stalker advantage. You can see he's rallying across the map. And Gerald, he can threaten the natural. If Shameless isn't too careful, this aggression can snowball out of control. As Gerald's moving out, he has more Stalkers on the way behind this. Dev has arrived, moving out across the map. We'll run into the Stalkers. The Adept is going to be targeted down. Nice damage here by Gerald, and it looks like he will get the Adept. Oof. Yeah, rough loss. Back at home, shield battery is on the way. Oh my god, Gerald still does not allow the expansion. Another Pylon. Yeah, the Stalkers have arrived. With the help of the shield battery, Shameless should be able to hold on, but it's not ready yet. Oh. Shield battery isn't ready. Stalker taking some hull damage. Oracle has arrived. And with the help of the Oracle, looks like Shameless will defend. But even here, this is still good damage for Gerald. As he does force the Oracle to spend energy and waste energy at home to defend instead of attacking. The Oracle finally can move out. Gerald behind this, expanding, getting his natural, taking up into Blink. Twilight Council has been placed. And there's a lot of pressure on Shameless. There's a shield battery in the mineral line. Gerald does defend. Gerald, he's safe in the main. Second Oracle's moving out. Gets caught though. Taking a bit of hull damage. And Gerald's reinforcing, throwing down a proxy pylon. Oh. And he can set up for a 4-gate. And even just 3 might just be too much. He denies the shield battery. Brings down the Zealot. Oracles, they threaten the main base. 2 Oracles, again, they can one-shot probes, but Gerald, he has Stalkers in position. The Oracles do nothing. Proxy gateway has been placed. And Gerald, he doesn't want to back off. And this time reinforcing with the depths. Stalkers do recall back home. And it is a little bit more awkward to wall off here. If Shameless does miss the wall off, these depths, they can just go ham. Can wreak havoc. As the depths, they do shade in, and Shameless does respond in time. Does react. Oracle still being active. They barely do miss the proxy, but they scout the adepts. Nice bit out of Gerald. Just wasting energy. Blink is about to finish. It's going to be 3 gates at home and a 4th gateway across the map, so it's going to be 4-gate Blink out of Gerald. He's moving out. You can see him trying to catch the Oracles. Uh-oh. Does attempt to, and he will! Blink in 10 seconds. He gets 1. 1 Oracle goes down. Blink finishing up in 5 more seconds. You see Shameless looking for the proxy. Takes a 3rd. A little bit too greedy here out of Shameless. I mean, the probe scout was denied. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know how aggressive Geralt is. As he's going for a robo. Gets his own 3rd. Armor sizes are comparable. Stalker's pushing in. snipes one Stalker. 2 for 1. Oh. Let's blink away. Nice blink out of Gerald. Very smooth control. Does get the better trade. Meanwhile, Shameless going into a Dark Shrine. But alas, Gerald, he already has a Robo. The Robo is done. Oracle dives into the main, going for the Stasis. Oh. Stasis catches one worker. Just the one. Main armies do clash. Do clash here in the center. And even though there is going to be detection, DTs can still pop off. Quickly checking, there is no observer for Gerald. Not yet. DT just now finishing up. Gerald trying to hunt down that observer. And Gerald's out of position. But Shameless doesn't commit. Does pull away. Shameless pushing forward. Concave in favor of Gerald. Both players making their hearts out. Upgrades are not yet coming into play. But Gerald, he can fall back to the shield battery. And he can maintain himself. He holds his own. Still a very close fight. Even Stalker count. Oh, actually in favor of Gerald. Slightly. Pulls away. The DTs are coming in. There we go. 2 DTs in the natural. DT in the main. Probes are going down, forcing a recall. 7 probe kills. Not bad. And 10 probes even. 13. Shameless taking a massive economic lead. He's got 61 probes. Shameless crippling the economy, going for the production as well. Okay, 13 probes, a pylon as well. Is going to be cleaned up. But Shameless, at least economically, is in a beautiful position, getting even a 4th base. Just has to build up. And Gerald behind this hasn't taken extra gases. He cannot afford disruptors if he wants to head in that direction. Is trying to stabilize. War Prism's on the way. Shameless looking good. There's the second Robo. Or is that the first? No, my apologies. That is the first Robo. Never mind. First Robo is just now on the way. If Gerald at any moment had gone into DTs, I mean, that could have been game. We had Revelations, but really that's it. Upgrades are neck and neck. Shameless is up in army supply. Rotating around. Working towards Link DTs. Better trade here for Shameless. Catches out, what, 3 Stalkers. Gerald has to back up. Shields are triggered. Shameless, he wants that Immortal. Oh, he wants it. Takes down the Stalkers. Not a bad trade. Gerald catching out some reinforcements. Not bad. Prism goes down. But Gerald, he's holding. Is holding on. Does punish the retreat. Takes down a good chunk of Stalkers. The armies do back off. Again, Shameless still has the higher worker count. Has not taken extra gases. Now would be a really good moment for Shameless if he took extra, like 2 extra gases and he went into a bay, into disruptors. Now would be the time. Now going for DT Harass. Still sticking with a gateway-based composition. Dark Shrine on the way for Gerald. Makes sense. I mean, he's behind.
Clever.
Gerald, he can bounce back. +2 finishing up slightly slightly faster here for Shameless. So he will have the upgrade advantage for a couple of seconds at least. For a time. Shameless moving out, +2 finishing up in 3 seconds. Can he get the Immortal? Not quite. Too many Zealots. Shameless backs off. DTs a waddle into the main. Oh, the Warpins though! Gerald, he does catch the DTs. At the same time, Shameless snipes the Immortal. Massive pickup. Mortal goes down. Zealots as well. They do tank a lot of shots. For Shameless, he will overwhelm. +3 has begun for Shameless as well. Maintaining his upgrades. Shameless trading with Stalkers. Better trade for Shameless. Reinforce more Zealots. I believe there's no War Prison for Shameless. No, never mind. There is one. It's on the way. Shameless can reinforce. Shameless still hasn't teched. Like, there's still no Temple Archives or Robotics Bay. So still no splash damage. Just purely a gateway-based army. Gets the War Prism. Very nice snipe. Prism goes down. Disruptors are on the way for Gerald. He knows what he wants. And the Bay is halfway done. He wants those Disruptors. I do think that Shameless could have gone there sooner. Alas, he still hasn't teched. He does collapse in, takes out all the Zealots, and Shameless, he wants the third. Do have another Warping coming in. Force Field working against the Zealots. The Mortal gets targeted down. Gerald, he is holding on. He barely is holding. Defends with DTs. Forcing back Shameless. Archons are on the way. And Shameless overextending a little bit here. Bleeds out all of his Zealots. Zealots go down now. He has to trade with the Stalkers. Shameless has to back off. Much better fight for Gerald. Takes down the Prism as well. He saves his economy. Gerald, he has now recovered worker-wise. And tech-wise, he's ahead. Shameless. Again, he never threw down the Temple Archives or Robotics Bay. And Gerald has both. Well, kind of. Like, he morphed to the DTs. But he's got Archons. Disruptors are on the way. Second Robo as well. Gerald, he's getting ahead tech-wise. And Shameless still... no Bay. Still just Mass Stalker. And Mass Stalker, I mean, it has its place. It definitely is good to kind of outposition the opponent and snipe bases, snipe expansions, get into mineral lines, and get into the main. But in a head-on fight, I have to favor Gerald. Have to favor the Disruptors. The ball spappy, they're here. Shameless moving out once again. As he moves out, does defend back at her. So Rambat doesn't do much. He wants the Nexus, but last, there is an overcharge. Gerald does hold. And I believe Shameless has not actually seen the Disruptors yet. The Observer just catching the edge of the army. But I believe Shameless is still in the dark. Yeah, he saw the river earlier, he didn't see the Bay. Now the main army is scattered. Geralt is aware, getting in position. Disruptors are here. Shameless has to back up. At the same time, Zealot runs into a wall of cannons. Yeah, Geralt, he does defend. More cannons on the way. More Disruptors as well. He's up to how many? Up to 5, soon to be 6 Disruptors. And Shameless still has not teched. Now, we saw previously in Game 1 where Shameless did defeat Geralt by responding to this with Mass Phoenix. That is true. That did happen earlier this series in Game 1. But again, there's still no further tech. Shameless is still sticking with purely a gateway army. And the longer this goes on, the more concerned I am for him. I mean, he is maxed, true. He is maxed out. But it's such a risky playstyle. Splitting up his army. Big Stalkers on the right. DTs Zealot towards the left. Running into DTs, no detection. There we go, Observers coming in. Never goes up. Oh, forcing the blink. Do you have a flanking army with a flank? Could get flanked. Nervous once again. Ooh, bigger connection. And Nervous, they crash into the Stalkers. Oh my god, no blink available, massive connections, Disruptors going down. Here come the DT Zealots. Only 2 Archons, but there's the overcharge, there's a wall of cannons and shield batteries. Geralt, he is holding. Does hold. You're behind this, shout out to Gian Wolf. I mean, thank you so much for the I almost said gifted sub, for the Twitch Prime. Thank you for the subscription. Thank you for the support. As Shameless still split up his army, Zellarame towards the south, Stalkers towards the north, but there are DTs all over the place. And Gerald is holding. He is the wall. Doing his best Showtime impression. I mean, hey, there are plenty of cannons and shield batteries all over the place. Gerald he defends, he maxes out, and Shameless he is still not teched up. Just double checking, yeah? No further tech. Shameless is trying to brute force this. I would say that this southern expansion is exposed. Like, there's significantly less cannons and shield batteries, so maybe Shameless can break this. Never mind. Never mind. He could have, but now we have another wall of cannons on the way. Gerald taking another expansion. Going for another Nexus. Now both armies do miss each other. We have Gerald rotating towards the south, Shameless towards the north. And these cannons are designed just to buy time. To buy time for the army to rotate. Actually, Gerald, he just keep pushing. Nova's going up. Massive connections with Zealots. And Gerald, he is committing. Going for essentially a base trade. Say that. There's the recall. Gerald, he's racing back home. Recalls only Zealots and DTs. Interesting choice. Shameless can keep going. Gerald racing back. Again, the recall looks like it was a little bit misplaced. Mass DT coming in. Shameless getting into the mineral line. Probes are going down. Gerald flanking with disruptors, trying to catch out the army. He blinks. No, the Novas! Oh my god. Massive connections. Decent splits there out of Shameless, but oh my god, the Novas are too good. The balls, they connect. Shameless plummets in supply. Some of the disruptors, they survive. 3 of them at least. Oh. 2 even. Gerald does hold the supplies, are evening up. That was a very messy fight. Both players bleeding out units. Both players have a bank. Shameless ordering in a massive wave of DTs. No detection. Oh, it's a little bit awkward. DTs on DTs. Gerald does arrive in time. At the same time, Shameless going for counterattack. It looks like he finally breaks the 4th. The 4th Nexus is going to go down. Massive pickup. 22 probes full. Nexus as well. It's going to be close. Yeah, Gerald's just out of position. Was distracted by the other run by him. 22 probe kills. Not bad. Never goes off. Raising the army. At the same time, Zellarame hits the southern side. But there are defensive DTs and the Observer as well. Bleeding out a lot of units. Gerald rotates over. Nova goes off. Shameless hoping to find an expansion that doesn't exist. Gerald didn't replace it. I mean, Gerald, he knows that he doesn't really have the most mobile army. We'll catch out these Stalkers. Not bad. Yeah, big catch here for Gerald. Takes down a massive wave of Stalkers. Shameless, he has to respond. How many DTs? 13. Jesus. 13 Dark Templar. And can he come in for the surround? Oh my god. Massive Nova. Shameless. No. Losing every single Stalker. The connections, they're brutal. The power of the Disruptor. On top of that, Shameless is out of gas. I mean, he hasn't taken gases at so many bases. So Shameless, he's running out of gas. Mainly only minerals left over. He's coming in. Shameless, I mean, it's weird to say, but I would say he's all in at this point. He's just now taking gases here towards top right. But Shameless, he can only reinforce with Zealots. A very cheap army. Doesn't scale well. I mean, Shameless has a better upgrades, true, but even then. That's going up. Oh, massive blink on the army, forcing a oh my god, the surround! The blinks are insane, going mass DT. I mean, it's kind of working. I'm still not convinced by this kind of army composition, but I mean, that wasn't a bad fight. If he can make Gerald overextend, if he can catch out the disruptors, get a surround, then sure, this could work. Expansion is denied. Basically, with Mass Zealot DT, what Gerald's missing is Archons. Like, disruptors can be okay, but, I mean, if the army just dives on top of it, the disruptors, they can't really do much. Earlier, Gerald did have a good amount of Archons, but not anymore. Just purely Stalker Disruptor. So as odd as this army looks, like, it can work for Shameless. He just has to close the distance and get on top of the Disruptors. And Stalkers, of course. As they'll say, bypass the main army, going for the natural, going for the production, the Robos. The Robos are under fire, Novas go up. Good connections. DT's hit the natural, but there's actually not much to kill. Oh, and this is going to be an expensive loss for Shameless. He has to get the hell out of here. And force a recall. Novas, oh, they connect just in time. Shameless beating out a lot of supply. And again, remember, Shameless, he doesn't really have much gas income, so he's reinforced with pure Zealot. Purely Zealots. I think Shameless has 4 gases mining. He has top right and bottom left. No gases here. No gases in the center. Back, of course, he's mined out. Back at home, of course, he's mined out. Trying to perk in. Alas, it's denied. I believe that was a kill, not a cancel. Shameless gets a Nexus. Shameless gaining ground, forcing a recall, not bad. Gerald's out of position. But Gerald, he has the larger army and he gets a surround! Ay, ay, ay. Shameless, he gets caught out. Not like this. Escapes with a handful of Stalkers, but that was brutal. And you see Shameless plummet in supply. That was not it. That was not the fight to take. And you can just see how much more efficient Gerald's army is. He's maxed, has a bank. Shameless trying to take more bases. Oh my god. Once again, juicy connections for Gerald. He just keeps connecting. Shameless going for a bit of a desperation counterattack, but Gerald is not too far behind. Shameless does get into the mineral line, but only 4 probe kills. And that DT army from Shameless that he had earlier, it's not really there anymore. How many DTs are left? 0. 0 Dark Templar, 4 Shameless. I mean, that's where his dive potential really came in with Blink, but now no more DTs. I mean, he's out of gas. Just relying on Zealots instead. Now finally Shameless does counterattack. Meanwhile, that is a lot of Zealots. Base goes down. Shameless, no detection. Observers on the way. So is Gerald. Gerald did lose his Robo, so you can see 2 more Robos on the way for Gerald, so he has actually no Disruptor production, I believe. Just one. Just the 1 Robo. Gerald is keeping up with the main army. Shameless once again going for a split push. I mean, we have seen Shameless outposition Gerald at times, especially with, you know, these kind of movements. Let's find the DTs. Gerald, he has to respond. Gerald, he's rotating over towards the left-hand side, sending his entire army over, actually. That does create an opening. Shameless going for the main. Send it. Go for the main. We'll find a robo. We'll deny it. Robo's going down. At least it should. Oh, never mind. The robo survives. Novas go up. Shameless gets caught out at the same time pushing in towards bottom left. But there's a recall available. There was potential. But Shameless doesn't get enough done. Zealot's coming in for a surround. God, the Novas are brutal. Massive connections on the Stalkers, on the Zealots as well. Shameless bleeding out his army, an army he can't afford to lose. I mean, he can still warp in more Zealots, true. He can. Oh. As he's desperately trying to expand. There we go, taking his gases. Hits bottom left, gets into the mineral line. I mean, despite the bit of fights out of Gerald, Shameless, he's definitely fighting back. Being as active as possible. Going for another Nexus. Not the most important one, there's no mining going on. Again, I do feel like there was potential earlier, I mean, multiple times so far, to go into the main. Shameless does rotate around. Gets the robo. Now finally dives into the main base, but Gerald, he's turning back around. He's racing back home. Shameless does have to get the hell out of here. And we'll be able to blink down. Gerald, he's ready for it. Oh god, there's no way out of this. He has to recall. And he will. Recall will bleed out, what, another 6 Stalkers. Ah, 6 more Stalker kills. GTs, and they find a fresh mining base. Not bad. Gerald, he's supply block. Does he have any detection? He does. Observers are on the way. Oh, he's going in again. Gerald, he sends his entire army over to respond. Shit. The main! Go for the main, Bab. Instead, DT counterattack. Shameless distracted. Forced to try to defend. Be able to. The Stalker's back off. And again, it's one of those things with Shameless, he has to avoid the main army fights. Like, he cannot fight this head on. And like he has been, he has to go for these big counterattacks, these big run-bys. Waiting for his detection. Observers are on the way. God, as the base is taking a lot of damage. No shot. Does he get it? He will. No shot. He gets the expansion. Nexus goes down. Observer is just a little bit too late. Aye. And Gerald, he might just embrace a base trade. We'll see. At this point, yeah, it's been too long. Gerald, he recalls back home. Recall now available. He blinks in. No! Shameless! He blinks off the ramp. He blinked in. Gerald coming in from behind, trying to get the surround. Aye. Shameless. You have to hold on to his blink. And here comes the surround, bleeding out so many Stalkers at the same time. The Disruptors are caught out. Ooh, they still get their shots off. And GG gets called. There's not much left. And Gerald will take the series 3-1, becoming this week's Sparkling Tuna Cup champion. GG. GG, well played. I mean, that was still a very chaotic game. I will say that Shameless was ahead in this game. He did have a lead. If you remember, he had the better economy, he had more bases, he had the better mining. But then we saw Gerald pull himself back into it with his disruptors. He was able to claw his way back in, he rushed into disruptor production, he was able to have a more efficient army, and we did speak about how Shameless, despite having the better economy, refused to tech. The entire game he refused to tech up, he refused to go into his own Archons or his own disruptors or Skytoss or whatever. Instead, Shameless, he stayed on a very low gas count. Now, that was intentional. I do want to emphasize that as well. Shameless staying on low gas count was very much so intentional. It's a very kind of swarm toss style of playing. It's very committed, just because, as you see here, if you don't get into mineral lines, if you don't pull your opponent apart, you just get outscaled. And you can just like almost never fight head on, just because you have a worse army. But it's designed to just, as we saw, just pull apart your opponents and overwhelm. And he was getting some damage, especially towards the end of the game. He was, you know, getting into mineral lines and sniping bases and getting into the natural, into the main. But it took a little bit too long. It did take a little bit too long for that to finally start occurring. And by the time it did, Gerald, he had his own stable economy. He was maxed out as well. Gerald just had a more stable approach. And yeah, Shameless was a little bit more committed instead. GG, well played. Congratulations, Gerald does take the series, but a shout out to Shameless because he definitely made Gerald work for it. And even in this final game, I can definitely see a world where Shameless wins this, where he just wins this game and then we have an ace match instead and we go all the way to game 5 and anything can happen there. So GG, well played. Gerald, of course, he is the more experienced player, does come out on top, but Shameless, he has been rising through the ranks. For those that are maybe unaware, Shameless is an up-and-coming player in Europe. He only really got onto our radar at the start of the year. Shameless, he's been around for a long time, but like back in 2020, 2021, 2022, he was a Masters player. I think he only hit GM at the end of last year, at the end of 2023, is when he finally kind of like broke into GM and started committing. I don't know what changed, but like he started focusing more on StarCraft, and he has been improving a lot over the past 12 months. It's been really impressive to see the growth of Shameless. He's very young. He's 18. I mean, earlier this year he was 17, but he is now 18 years old and has been doing really well for himself. You know, he's one of the many young talents that have kind of risen through the ranks, and yeah, it's been really cool to see the growth of Shameless. Does go down here to Gerald. Gerald's still the more experienced, more established player, but was a close one. And I mean, still impressive that both players made it to the finals. You know, it was not an easy run here for either player, so congratulations. Quickly going over it as well, Shameless, he took down Rostock and Hormono to make it to the finals, as you can see here. You can see that Gerald went to the ace match against both of them, so they went all the way to game 3. There's a world out there where maybe Rostock defeats Gerald or Hormono defeats Gerald. You know, it was not an easy run for him to make it to the finals. Likewise, Shameless took down Rebellion and Nikic to make it to the grand finals as well. So GG, well played. Congratulations to Gerald, very well done. And with that, we're going to be wrapping up our broadcast for the day. We've just finished up going through all these viewer replays and also the grand finals of STC as well. As a reminder, Sparkling Tuna Cup was earlier last night. It was like, Jesus, what, 10 hours ago? Not something like that. It was quite some time ago, but it clashed. The finals clashed with Wardy's tournament. Wardy was hosting a 3v3 team tournament, so we put our finals on hold. We put it on hiatus, waited for the Wardy event to finish, and now we wrapped up the grand finals. GG, well played. As a reminder, this tournament is a weekly tournament, so every single week we do host the Sparkling Tuna Cup. It is typically Sunday evenings, depending on where you are in the world. Could be Sunday during midday instead in Europe, for example, or very early in the morning in the Americas. But it is an open tournament, and if you want to help support this tournament, you can do so via Matcherino or via Patreon. Patreon does fund our weekly tournaments. It funds tournaments like this, like Sea Duckling Open, Master Swan Open, and Sparkling Tuna Cup as well. It's all funded via Patreon. You can see our goal underneath the bracket. Actually, it's a little bit better to see here. There we go. You can see the goal under Shameless's name. Currently, we do make 246 USD via Patreon. All that money goes towards the prize pool of these tournaments, and you can see our next stretch goal as well. Right now, our tournaments are very top heavy. Only top two get paid out. But if our Patreon goal, if it grows, then we can reach a new goal, and we can share the love and pay out top 4, for example. So that is the hope, at least. That is the hope. Ah. But if you want to help support us, you can do so via Patreon. You can also gain replay packs. We do send out replay packs of these tournaments we have permission to share, of course, like Sparkling Tuna Cup, the Nation's Turtle Tussle, Kung Fu Cup, and many other tournaments as well. So we do send out those replays. Otherwise, thank you. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. It was a bit of a longer broadcast than I thought it would be, but it was a lot of fun. Was a lot of fun going over those viewer replays, and thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to support us in a different way, not monetarily, but if you want to follow us, you can do so via social media. You can do so via Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord, all things Cranky Ducklings. And you will be notified when we go live, as we do post on all the social medias whenever we do. Likewise, you can interact with us on Discord outside of just all these casts, and you can also watch VODs on YouTube. We do upload, we do stream on YouTube at the same time, so we have VODs available instantly. All the VODs. All the VODs are available on YouTube, and we're catching up on YouTube when it comes to VODs. I think we're like 2 months behind, so we're catching up. We're very quickly catching up just because of the off season, so YouTube is the place to be for all the VOD content. Otherwise, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Our next cast is going to be in a couple of days, I believe. Sorry, I say a couple of days. Tomorrow, in less than 24 hours, we're going to be live on this channel with Stego Monday Cup. And my apologies, even before that, in how many hours time? 7. In 7.5 hours, we're going to be live here with the Wardy TV Monday number 6. That is a weekly open cup at a more Korea-friendly time slot, so it's better for Koreans and Europeans. So again, in 7.5 hours, we will be live here covering the Wardy event, and it'll be tomorrow covering the Stego Monday Cup. So this is kind of the period where all the open cups are around. They're all taking place, like Sparkling Tuna Cup, the Nation's Turtle Tussle, KSRS, Wardy TV, and Stego Monday as well. 5 open cups a week is usually what we have, but no Turtle Tussle this week. No Turtle Tussle this week. Next week. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. We do appreciate it, and we'll see you guys in 7 hours or tomorrow, depending on when you're available. Depending on when you do tune in, do check it out. Otherwise, thank you so much, Gianwolf, for the sub as well, and the gifted subs from Stegosaurus. Thank you. Do appreciate it. And I'm gonna go get some breakfast, and then I'm gonna go pass out. I need to get some sleep before the Wardy tournaments. I don't want to stay up, otherwise I'm just gonna be fatigued and I'm gonna be out of energy. So I'm gonna try and have a nap before the Wardy event. So that's the plan. That's the current plan here for me. So yeah. Otherwise, thank you so much. Tomorrow, after the Stego Monday tournaments, we should be having a ladder session. I typically don't stream if we're casting twice in a day. So today we have 2 casts. But tomorrow is just Stego Monday, so I'll be able to have a nice ladder session and smudge on the ladder. It's gonna be beautiful. The smudge will be real. I'm out of practice. Rusty. It'll be fun. Otherwise, thank you for watching. See you next time. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao. Papi ciao. See you next time.